And we're back. Now that we're all home, Chia's picked up. Chia's picked up her Switch 2 from her mail room at the dollar store, the 99-cent store down the block. I'm not in the club, but how are people feeling about their new Switch?
Before that, I have to know. I want to know how everyone picked theirs. Well, I know how Chia picked theirs up because I sent it to them and it was on a stream when they went to go get it. But Janet, I know you pre-ordered one at a GameStop.
Yeah.
How did your GameStop experience go?
It was good overall. They did fumble the reminder call because they were like, "Hey, your Switch 2 pre-order. It's available for pickup on it's like the Wednesday before it came out essentially." And they're like, "At 3 p.m. you can just pick it up at 3 p.m." And I was like, "Are you sure you don't mean I can come to get my ticket to pick it up later at 9 p.m.? Because that's typically how these things go. Like, it's midnight release East Coast time, which is 9 p.m. my time, West Coast." And they're like, "No, you can just get it if you have pre-ordered." I was like, "So you're saying I can go and get it, not just get a ticket to come back later?" They're like, yeah. I'm like, I don't really believe them, but like, let's go. And yeah, I was right. They I don't know why the person calling messed that up or like how they messed that up, but luckily I don't think anyone that cared that much about it because like I went in fully knowing that like I don't think I'm gonna walk away with this at 3 p.m. But they said I would. Maybe, hey, I'm gonna take the Switch as they give it to me. But yeah, it went pretty much fine. It was a lot faster and smoother than the very slow rollout of standing in the pre-order line and then them opening like 3 people into the store at a time. Because I was in a line at 3 p.m. for just people that had pre-ordered, and then they would stagger us between the people who hadn't pre-ordered but wanted to last second pre-order, which those people went through hell. I talked to one of them. I was like, I gotta know how long these people have been here because the line was massive at like 3 p.m. GameStop. GameStop opens at like 10 normally, 10, 11. And the second group, because the first group wasn't there at the time. They like probably went to use the bathroom or get coffee. Their chairs were there. So the second group said they had been there since 9 a.m. the day before. I said, shh. I ain't never want nothing that bad. Y'all can keep it. I can't do it. But they said the people behind that, most of the people behind them, aka most of the line, had arrived around 5 a.m. day of, which is still a lot. It's still a lot, but day before, that I can't. I don't got it in me. I don't got it in me. I just won't play.
So you buy game consoles in an era where this is just not how things were, but like being out in line 24 hours, 48 hours to get out like PlayStation 2 or something like that, standard practice. Like was staple of the local news report was like, what are these nerds waiting in line for this
nerds.
time? And that's been like gone away a little bit in the last 10 years. I feel like the last big hurrah of that was like the Wii, and like a lot of Apple devices would also have like a lot of like people standing in like long lines or like days in advance. I mean, I have a lot of fond memories of like waiting. My mom, I didn't get a pre-order for a PlayStation 2, and so my mom just pulled me out of class in like the morning. She's like, "Do you want to just like go to a bunch of electronic shops?" And I was like, "Sure, Mom, that sounds fucking cool as hell." And we didn't get one, but we got like a ticket for like Circuit City's like next like shipment, and that was like the
it was a real story.
yeah. The Circuit City's not around anymore.
No.
Are they a brand in any capacity though?
I don't think so.
Because sometimes they
Somebody
Google on the
must have
side.
bought the rights to.
That's what I mean. Like what?
If no one's bought it, we should pick that up. With our
Sometimes
endless
they become
supply
an
of budgetary
online yeah,
meats.
they're just an online retailer now.
I'm shocked they're even online. I thought
think
they
this
were
is-
gone.
I think this is
distressed.
purely somebody running a crummy warehouse, coasting off the fact that occasionally an old person like me might just like Google Circuit
Oh,
City.
no.
Yeah, no, like this isn't a good website. Like it looks bad.
Oh, that's just because they need us to go to invest.circuitcity.com.
Is that
So we
crypto?
can learn to invest.
What is that?
No, God.
I'm sorry, I think someone just bought these
We can
URLs.
invest in the future of Circuit City.
I don't want to do that. Anyway, so I similar to you. So my standard practice with like new game consoles is I make the assumption I will not get a review unit, and then go from there. So I pre-ordered 2 Switch 2s. I got one at Walmart, and what was the other one? At Best Buy. And then like a week before the Switch 2 comes out, Nintendo tells me like, hey, you're going to get one. It'll arrive either the day the Switch 2 comes out or possibly the day after. And I'm like, okay, like, thank you, but that is not particularly useful information for me to do, like, for me to do my job. But it did mean it opened up, like, unlocked, like, another Switch for me to hand off to. Like, I had promised Kato one. Like, you can have either you get your Nintendo Direct order,
which I'm still waiting on.
and you should still order that probably
I'm
and give it to
in the
somebody else.
line.
No, honey, they ain't gonna call you. Like,
Yeah, I'm still in line for that too.
They gave me a pre-call. They were like, "You're still in line."
Oh, I
Just
didn't
so
get
you
that
know.
far.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
So they didn't get.
they
to
said, "Who's
wherever
this?" They said, "Do you even have Nintendo Online?" Because turns out I didn't, which I found out the night that the console came out.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, now my stream knows I'm broke. I was like, "Oops, sorry guys,
Damn.
I gotta switch over."
Can't use the Nintendo Music app.
No,
So I learned that, but because I had this wedding, and then I was going to Summer Game Fest. I was like, all
I'm
right.
getting secondhand stress from you telling this story, Patrick. This is too much stuff on one calendar week.
Well, but I also needed to play. I had a short window of a morning of 20 minutes for my kids to eat breakfast before they go to get shuttled off to school and daycare, where I could play Mario Kart World with them so they could turn around and write about that for crossplay. So I'm like, all right, Best Buy, I could just go get it like stress-free at 10 a.m. That's out of the window. The window needs to be that I have this tonight, set it up, and then can do this between 7:30 and 8 a.m. the next morning. So I figured like I'm gonna go to Best Buy at midnight. I'll like bring a beer or two with me. I put in a koozie and I'll stand in this probably short line. I'm picking up a pre-order, right? Well, they did the thing that a lot of places did, which is like one pre-order, one normal line. Which I got to be honest, I'm sorry you didn't get a pre-order. You're in a second class of line. I should be getting the preference. All the pre-order lines should be able to go in, get their
I agree
goddamn
with that.
pre-orders.
Why are
and
we
then-
going one by one, like top back and forth?
It was like 6 and 6. Like they were doing waves of them, but
Oh, okay.
it was a line that I could have
we
been
were like
done.
9 versus 52. I'm like, let
Yes.
these 52 people just wait a little bit longer.
So I'm in line for like an hour and a half. Like finally get through. I hadn't pre-ordered any accessories, so I like did that while I was there. Came home, like did the transfer, like set the stuff up for my kids so that I was able to play a little bit of Mario Kart World with them in the morning. So it's like I had this one Switch that I set up, and then I'm waiting for the one Nintendo's sending me, and then the one from Walmart, which is the one that Chia got, was there before everything. Like I went to bed at
That's so
2
funny.
in the morning after just getting all the Switch 2 stuff set up so we could maximize the window I had in the morning. Walmart, it was there at 6:30. Like by the time I was awake, there was another
Jesus
Switch
Christ.
outside of my outside. Well, because I think they shipped them to the store, and then it was like a person delivered them like from Walmart to like the ones that were local,
Like Santa.
Yeah, so I wasn't waiting like for the UPS driver route. I was just like whatever the Walmart person was doing. So, but that one stayed in the Walmart bag, and then I went to UPS. I was like, took one look, just put another shipping label on top of the old shipping label, and
Yeah.
sent
Classic.
send that to the Dollar Tree in Brooklyn.
Not important distinction, but for clarity of my pickup, again, it's you get the ticket, so it's like it took a little while for me to get my ticket. It was funny because there was a guy in line who was like, "Hey, could I like get in front of you? Because I have work like in like 10 minutes." And I'm thinking, where do you work where you're even gonna make it there on time? But I said, you know what? You can be I don't have a real job. Get in front of me. I don't care. Go ahead. I don't have anything to do today. That person didn't make it to work either because it took a while. But so you got like a ticket and they're like, we're gonna do it in numerical order. So I got like number 13 or 9 or something. I was like pretty high up there, and then you come back at 9 p.m. to actually get the console, and I was like, well, how are you? Do we line ourselves up like just in numerical order or what? And I forgot what they even answered me. I was like, okay, when we showed up, and yeah, people just lined themselves up in numerical order, and we came like barely on time. Like, people were already starting to go in, and we were pretty early, so it was like, oh, we have to like kind of rush to like. Also, I just asked someone in line, like, hey, did you guys already line yourselves up or what? Because there were a lot of people when I got there at 9 o'clock, and people were really cool about it. I like jumped into like where my spot's supposed to be, alongside my brother, because my fiance, who had his pre-order also there, was parking the car. So it's like, okay, if Isaiah doesn't make it here in time for parking the car, my brother can just grab it, and it's like whatever. And that was very fast. Like, it happened like instantaneously. Everyone in line was like really chill. Like, a lot of us recognized each other from like being in the line earlier. So it was like, oh yeah, they were here like earlier today. Like, make sure they get there or whatever. So, and yeah, it was cool. And like the line for the pre-order ticket, was like pretty chill. People were like there talking about, Nintendo stuff and what they're gonna play. And like, I was next to this guy who like knew a lot about, I mean, obviously a lot of people there know a lot about games because they're there pre-ordering a Switch, but they like, knew the indie scene and knew like other stuff. So it was like fun just kind of casually talking about, oh, what kind of stuff might you play on your Switch 2 and stuff, getting in there with the community.
I met a Remap listener. There was somebody like kind of poking their head over, and then I got a DM Blue Sky.
Celebrity sighting.
They're like, are you at the Best Buy in yada yada yada? I'm like, I am. It's like, oh, I thought that was you tweeting your feet. And I was like, yep, that was me. Because the way the Best Buy line wrapped around, like,
Oh my god.
they made people like walk over like this like plant structure. So I had to you have to like walk up this cement bit. You could go all the way around.
Challenge.
Yeah.
And then eventually people got tired of walking over the cement structure and through the dirt and just wrapped it into the parking lot a little bit. But funny enough, like, GameStop deserves all sorts of shit for being like a weird far-right crypto company, and yet I heard nothing but good things about like people's experiences purchasing. Like, they had the most stock and like the most civil, like, efficient lines, which has very little to do.
To them, don't you?
I'm not handing it to the weirdo at the top, but like the people working the GameStops like seemed like they did a good job.
They're out there. I got a free Red Bull because I'm a Power Pro member, so that was, it's no Pringles and Coca-Cola bottle, but I
didn't get any of those
I
in
was
my
hyped.
Walmart order.
That's
so
strange. You're like the only one that didn't. We had a Walmart pre-order as well. We had like our pre-orders, and then Isaiah had, I think, 2 extra ones that he ended up just using for like other people who just didn't get one. Like throughout SGF weekend, people would be like, oh yeah, I didn't get one. He's like, you want one? I have them. And it was just kind of like doling them out to people whenever it came up. So we got rid of those other 2 like pretty quick, just off that. But yeah, one of those was Walmart. And yeah, we had the Pringles thing. We slowly ate it over the next couple of days. But man, genius on Walmart's part, because people were slaying the hell out of those photos on social media, being like, look at me and my Pringles with my Walmart bag. And I'm like, oh my God, they got so much marketing off that. Again, speaking of evil, gotta hand it to them. I'm like, you know what? That was smart. That was smart because people took the bait hard. They were so hyped about those Pringles cans.
So it's been, a week in change, or 24 hours in change in for Kato. But I have to say, I have spent a lot of time with and not a lot of time with the Switch 2, I guess is like how I would put it. Like, Mario Kart, I'm very happy for my children. It does nothing for me. I don't like, if Mario Kart is being played at a party, I will play. But I stopped playing Mario Kart meaningfully on Mario Kart 64, which is
oh my
really
God.
It's not. I'm not saying it.
Shit.
This is not Mario Kart derogatory. It's just not like a game that I really look forward to.
Are you sure? Because I like it. Are you sure you don't like it?
Right.
Well, here's the thing. I don't dislike it, but if Mario Kart.
Well, that is in the hater's handbook, though. I don't dislike it.
Well, I guess what I'll say is the goal structure of Mario Kart is not enticing to me. Like, just going through like 50cc, 100cc. Like, if Mario Kart World was a like fully structured, like objective based, like single player adventure that also had a whole Mario Kart game, I could get into that. The idea of like playing a single player Mario Kart game sounds pretty cool. That's like not what is here really. And so for me, it's like, it's a fun game to play with my kids, but it's not, I don't know. Mario Kart hasn't done a lot for me in a while, and Mario Kart World doesn't functionally change that too much. But it sounds like I am on the outs here between Chia and Janet.
Kind of cheer you Mario Karting like that?
I would be, but I just got it.
I gotta
so-
send you that code. I have
Yeah,
one.
that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, the code on the
I
separate thing.
appreciate that.
Yeah, I feel similar with Switch 2. Like I haven't really fully put it through its paces, even with like some of the upgrade stuff, which honestly I got mad that that's not free. So like Tears of the Kingdom, but it works. $10 more. So I was like, you guys suck. I hate you guys. Because TLDR, I was on my family plan for NSO, but my brother was like, I don't really want to pay for this anymore, and I'm like, I'm good not paying for it. And then he like canceled it, but they're like, you can't cancel. I was like, oh, he missed the window, so I had it free for a year. But the TLDR is I had to rebuy it because no one was paying for it. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just get it. And I ended up buying it twice because in my haste of like, okay, family plan, like, yeah, I want give me the most expensive thing you have, Nintendo. It's launch night. Money doesn't mean anything tonight. We're trying to have fun with the Switch 2.
These are all tax write-offs. Let's go.
Yes. I was like, it's for work. Okay. So I did that, and then later I came back to like, because I was telling my family, I'm like, y'all make sure you're using this. Try to play these stupid free games they give you because I'm paying for it, so you might as well do it. And then I realized I didn't get the family pack plus expansion pack or whatever. And then so I was like, I mean, they prorate it, so it's not like you pay for it double. I'm kind of being dramatic saying I paid for it twice, but I'm just like, another $40. Again, it's not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things, but I'm just like, why is it like this? But whatever. We exclusively have like 3 GameCube games. I've mostly played Mario Kart World on my Switch 2. I definitely want to, again, get Pipstrello and the Curse of the Yo-Yo or whatever, Patrick, and I want to, I heard Splatoon runs a bit better too on the console, and I think they did like a little update, and I know there's like Splatoon news. So I am looking to like get more into it, but I haven't really the dream of eventually like, can this kind of be a more dedicated space than like me going to my Steam Deck? That just hasn't really like come to fruition yet this early on into having the console. But yeah, Mario Kart World feels great. It's fun. It looks really beautiful. Not shockingly, but somewhat shockingly, the OST in that game is incredible. I know
So
haters
good.
might say it's the old songs remixed. You remix it then. Oh, you can't because you don't know how to make music. You don't, and obviously I'm kind of hamming it up, but genuinely, I don't think, I think people might be quick to discount this as like one of the best soundtracks of the year because it is like almost like a remake of a game where it's like, well, a lot of the core really things that made it good are already established, but the ways they like play and riff and build is like shockingly masterful. Like it's like this is, if they put this on the weird music
Nintendo
app thing they
Music?
have,
Yeah.
like I don't really believe in what Nintendo is doing with that, but I would genuinely like boot that up to like get to, because also there's a lot of tracks and they're hard to like really go through easily, like to see all of them. So like I totally would go in just for the OST alone. But yeah, I think the last big thing on World that I really have to say is like Knockout Tour is incredible. That's like the best thing they've ever done in a Mario Kart.
Yep.
But and the Grand Prix do look really pretty, but everything else is a little bit lacking. Battle only has 2 modes. It's like Coin Chasers, and the other one you can't like opt into what one you're doing if you're like booting up with randos, only if you do a room. So there's like little like things like that are sort of a bummer. The open world is like very mid. There are things I think stop it from being, I think before this game came out, I was like, Mario Kart World, it's gonna be one of the best games of the year. It's gonna be so good. 8 was so good. Da, 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 da. And I still think it's a great game, but I'm not as hot on it as I like thought. I thought this was gonna like change my life, and it's more like a nice thing that we have kind of thing. But I think as far as Switch 2 goes, though, I do like that feeling of new console. Most people like Mario Kart enough to be playing it, right? So it's like, okay, this is like a new fun thing we can all do. Like followers I have online, friends I have in Discord, community members on the Min-Max Discord. Like there are people to play with, and it's like the hot time for that. And I really like that. Like I've enjoyed sharing the friend code again and trying to like, see what people have going on and like jumping into people's rooms when they have them open and like combing socials and say, oh, my friends dropped a room code or someone's streaming and they have that. And you had that with 8 as well, but because 8 was inherently like a much older game, like you just have like a nice resurgence of, hey, here's like a nice thing we can do together. And it's nice to be a part of that aspect of it. But yeah, like it is a good amount of time put in, but not enough to say anything too meaningful in terms of. I think I'm looking forward to getting to know it more as a handheld, like ergonomically, because I've done a lot of my playtime docked, so I'm sure in the coming weeks we'll talk about like what's the handheld experience like, or has anyone taken it out and about with them? If anyone goes out and about anymore, because we mostly work remote, but things like that. I'm looking forward to getting to know more of that aspect and some of the like updates once I will myself to give Nintendo the $10 because I didn't finish Tears of the Kingdom the first time anyway, and I do want to finish that game. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
Go ahead.
did you feel any difference in the coins? I've seen people talking about the coins.
Oh, like how they
changed the coins.
when you pick them up.
Yeah, well, just
The
like,
speed boost stuff with the
speed
20.
boost shit. Yeah.
I will say something that's both a pro and a con to Mario Kart World is the skill ceiling is probably the highest it's ever been in Mario Kart.
Right.
The people that are good at this game who are starting to like emerge and they've been gestating in the cocoon and they're coming out. It's a speedrunner's paradise kind of game.
I've seen some shit. Yeah.
It's like I cut the corner and then I boosted the thing and then I hit the slope and then I'm just on the track. You know what I mean? I'm just out here.
I'm just. Maybe I'll do a drift. A
Yeah.
drift boost. It'll be nice. It'll
I
be
think
fun.
the one gripe I have about the jump, because you can kind of like manually jump at any time and you can use that to get on walls or grind rails, is to do the jump you need to be going straight and like you hold down like whatever the button is to jump, it's like R1 or whatever, and then you'll do it. But because you need to be going straight, I do find that to be counterintuitive to the way Mario Kart's traditionally played, which is it's a drifting game.
Right.
So, and on one hand, like, okay, well, that's part of the challenge or whatever, I guess, but like, I would say mechanically for that reason, I think I still like 8 more mechanically, but the look and vibes of World are like very strong. But yeah, the coin thing, it's like you can now have up to 20 and you get like a little, I think you get a tiny boost each time you pick up a coin. And obviously you have like general higher speed if you have like the full amount. There's been a bunch of people, it's been fun seeing people post too online, like on TikTok, my algorithm of like different meta things of like tips or just like stuff that you can do and like ways to, okay, this is how you avoid the blue
There's a
shell.
whole video where someone figured out what percentage boost each coin gives you, and it's not the same
Yeah.
across the board. It's not a linear path. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, they're like, if
People
you're
who look at this game differently.
if you have this kind of car, you only need to have like 4 coins. But if you're gonna do this, you need to hit yeah, like it
Yeah.
is like it is. I mean, it's like kind of Nintendo's thing, right? Like even Smash is obviously more skill forward facing, but Mario Kart has a lot of like hidden stats underneath it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ever really gonna like fully engage with any of that stuff. I just want to drive and
going pro in Mario Kart World.
but yeah, Knockout Tour is incredible. The Battle Royale for classic Nintendo. They wait forever to hit up a genre, and then when they touch it, they knock it out of the park. And I was like, damn.
Knock.
Y'all
it
tilted
out
with that.
of the park. Knockout mode.
Tour, yes, yes, very good, Patrick.
Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed in the open world stuff. Like personally, I was hoping for that would be my hook into it. And that was going to be my kids' hook into it too. I mean, maybe Nintendo said along the way that like that's not a mode you're going to be able to do like cooperatively. But I feel like if you were just watching the marketing for Mario Kart World, because this was my children's takeaway from it, was like, oh, like that's what my daughters were like, that's what we're going to do together. We don't have to do the racing modes. No one wins, no one loses. Like, we'll just explore and get the cosmetics, and our characters get to change costumes. That sounds awesome. And so my kids went from like delighted, like screaming when they saw the Switch 2 like set up, to abject horror, and my 5-year-old is crying on the couch in like the first like 5 minutes of turning it on as I realize I can't do open world. Free roam is the mode, what it's called, like free roam co-op. So I'm frantically searching. This actually worked out where I got it after it was out. Like I'm frantically searching Reddit, and I found a thread for like other frantic parents being like, well, I cannot believe they pitched this mode and like made it seem like this is what everyone's going to be able to do together, and you just cannot do this together. And like one courageous parent raises their hand like, you can trick the game. And it's like you go into wireless mode, which is where you can set up a lobby, and the lobby is the free roam mode of Mario Kart World in split screen. It doesn't have the P switches and the other sort of challenge oriented stuff that is like scattered throughout the world, but it has the cosmetic stuff, and 2 people can play together with one another. And so I figured that out,
Nice.
set it up. The children, the youngest wipes away her tears, and like we get 5 minutes like as they got in that moment. I think stuff like that, an oversight like that, speaks to. I don't think they oversold it. I think I was just hoping for something that wasn't promised and also wasn't there. And maybe some of that stuff will get added. Like if you look at Mario Kart World as a live service game that they're going to add to over the next, 8 years, like this could look like a fundamentally different game, like over the course of that span. But at launch, it feels. I guess I was just. I knew I wasn't going to be into it. I guess I was just hoping I could be into it. It's like, no, I guess it's just another Mario Kart, which is. I'll play it at a party, and that's.
It's
fine.
funny seeing the Nintendofication of like criticism around Nintendo games has always been like a bit irksome, and I say that as a Nintendo stan. Like I love like
Same.
Almost everything Nintendo does, pretty much. But at the same time, it's like, can we just critique the game without being like, oh well, but like I've seen so much conversation around with the. Well, they never said the open world would be good, so I don't know why you thought it would be good. The fact that you expect it to be good, I feel like that's your fault. Sorry, I expect my games to be good.
Hey, you expected that they're going to build a big open world, put these P-Switch challenges in it, and you expected them to put markers on the map for you to find them? Like, that is... come on.
Why'd you think it'd be interesting? Is it because they made one of the most interesting open world games of all time in Zelda? I don't know where you got this from. Or the, like, well, it's fun if you're... it's interesting, you, Patrick, having that angle of bringing up your kid situation with, like, the wanting the local co-op aspect of that, because it's also, like... The kids thing is another thing that gets thrown in there. Well, if you're 5 and you've never played a game before, you're going to have a lot of fun with it. And that's who it's for, you old hag. It's like, okay, like, are we
my
critiquing?
5-year-old was more discerning. Held Nintendo to higher standards and said, you betrayed me, Miyamoto.
And honestly, like, I get, all kids are different. Like, they're smaller people, right? So it's like not every kid is going to be the same. But I'm also tired of people acting like every kid is the same. I've been playing games since I was 5, and I did have games that I thought were good and games I didn't think were good. Like, it is possible for a kid to have a desire approaching a video game. I feel like people act like, oh, well, they're kids. They're too dumb to know what anything is or to have opinions. I think that, like, what do you think? We don't form opinions until we hit puberty? Like, that's the first time you have an opinion on something? Like, but we're back, baby. We're yelling about Nintendo. Yeah, so I do wish that they... I like you, Patrick, as much as I seem to like Mario Kart a bit more. I do want... I crave progression, and something that I do miss from 8, OG 8, on the Wii U, the few, the proud, the Wii U owners.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
You had to unlock the cups, and I miss having that. And I get that, like, well, you can just still play them. Like, yeah, but, like, I like the serotonin of chasing those unlocks and having that to look forward to.
Yes.
And without that, I do feel like, and, they don't have, like, the car customization and stuff. There's an individualistic motivation lacking, where it's like, I could play it just to have fun, but I can do that with my friends online or at a party, where's the, like, if my Wi-Fi were to cut out, why would I play it? And, like, sure, maybe to see the Grand Prix, but after that, it kind of does, like, it's not as exciting to race against, like, a CPU, because it's not personal. When it's even when it's a person I don't know, I'm like, oh, that's, like, Davey 87. Like, we're in here together, and we're, like, part of something, even if I don't know who that person is. Yeah, and I think what I would love to see from this is, y'all look over at Forza and just do a little copy paste, because there's so many great things in Forza. Like, I play that game mostly alone, actually pretty much exclusively alone, and there's so much cool stuff. And, like, the set, I'm like, oh my god, if they did like a big set piece single player moment where then Bowser is, like, chasing you on that, like, train from 3D World, people would be saying this is a 10 out of 10 video game.
That's the Mario
Even
Kart
though they
game.
still shouldn't, but they would, and I would be like, it's harder to argue. It's harder to argue, like, there's so much there that just is left on the table. And I think the hope of this being a more, like, a better game through its live service component, I personally don't fully buy that, because look at live service Animal Crossing. Like, one little DLC, like, 3 years later. Like, I do think they'll maintain more than this, but even their most live servicey game, Splatoon, I find myself wanting quite a bit from that aspect of Splatoon. Mm-hmm. I mean, the only thing they do that's really, like, good there is the I forgot the name of it offhand. The turf war kind of, like, timed events of, like,
Ham
ice cream versus candy.
Turkey sandwiches. Yeah.
Yes, and honestly, that stuff is, like, fun as hell.
It's
because,
good.
Like,
it's good.
And I think that's where the missing component is. Like, it is fun to drive and race in Mario Kart to most people. Obviously, some people don't like the game, but, like, it's a good kart racer. It's like the best kart racer out there in the modern era. We just need like some little some additional scaffolding for like contextualizing play in a way that makes it feel differentiated from what I can get on any given Tuesday. And I don't think Nintendo's going to deliver on that. But if they give a little, we'd eat it up a lot because it doesn't need that much. And yet I feel like Nintendo's still not going to give it to me.
I mean, Mario Kart World takes a lot for granted. There's not even a tutorial.
No, which I think is a mistake, because especially with that jump thing.
It's like the game explains literally nothing about itself. Like this dawned upon me watching my oldest, who has finally graduated past, like, okay, if you're getting first place in 50cc every single time, like, I think it's time to move on. She's like, but I like winning. And I'm like, I can't argue with that logic. But she was playing against a friend we had over, and she's like, what's with all these coins? I'm like, oh, they make you go faster. She's like, she doesn't like to swear, but if she could have, she would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about, Dad? This is like, why would you know that? Why would you know that? Like, there's nothing in the game that suggests to you the coins should make you go faster unless you just know the coins make you go faster. And it's
hot take, Nintendo's not for kids, it's for old people. Like,
I mean, I do not think Nintendo does any focus testing with families, because if they did, a child would cry within minutes of playing one of their games. I mean, I pulled aside two.
Family Game of the Year, though, for sure. Easy lock.
I pulled aside like two Nintendo executives when I was at the Switch 2 event. I was like, hey, pop quiz. Do you think that like you can play as the same character in the games where you have character lineups? They're like, yeah, of course. I was like, wrong. You don't play your own fucking games, but you know who does? Like a 5-year-old. And when the 5-year-old and the 8-year-old can't play as Princess Peach, you cause problems in my house. Except they can play as Princess Peach together in Mario Kart, but they can't do it in Super Mario Brothers Wonder. And I need you to fix that. I don't know why that's not the case, but I need you to let them play as the same characters. Because if you did a focus testing with like a group of like young kids and they couldn't play as the same character, it's like one of the first like bits of feedback you would get. But I just don't think they do that, and I don't think
maybe children can learn something about authorial intent and grow from that.
But here's the thing: authorial intent, Mario Kart in Super Mario Brothers Wonder. My 4-year-old or 5-year-old was what, 3.5 at the time when that game came out. They have an option for you to not get punished if you fall into a pit. You just kind of like float out in a bubble and you don't die. But you have to play as who's the shitty little Nabbit? I think is the character.
The purple guy?
Basically, Mario Brothers Wonder says, like, hey, we understand that, like, you're still learning how to play and figuring out how controls work, but we think you're a fucking idiot, and we want you to play as Nabbit.
You have to wear the shame cone while you play.
It's a shame cone. Like, it's a shame cone. Like, it sucks. Like, my youngest, she played one level and said, like, I don't want to be Nabbit. It makes me feel bad. I was like, yeah, like, fair. Like, that's a completely reasonable response to have.
I will say, like, in her defense, my fiance, who's very much not 5 and is like 32 or something.
Rob, are you looking at Nabbit?
Yeah.
No, who would want to be Nabbit? Felt the same way about like us playing Donkey Kong, because I think you can be like Donkey or like Dixie. And I was like, well, if you want to jump more, you can be Dixie. And he's like, I don't want to be, because it's called Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, which is to say, one, obviously funny comparison, but 2, again, the only difference between kids and adults is emotional regulation and like more, general life experience. So like, you can contextualize things differently, but we have the same feelings. Like, I rage quit Clair Obscur for a couple of minutes last night trying to get the platinum, where I literally was in battle and I turned off the console because I was so mad. If I was a kid, that would have been a temper tantrum, but I'm an adult. I'm not going to break everything and scream, so I'm just going to seethe quietly and then return to the game on my own time. So yeah, it's all the same thing. So I don't know why we act like these things are different. They're ostensibly the same.
What did you do what did you do to calm the seethe?
I sat there and I was mad, and my fiance was like, "You're right. That sucks. I don't know, man. This is tough times." Wow. And then I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go back in, because what's waiting for me later? The same battle again. I just want to finish it." And I did finish it, and maybe I'll talk more about that later if there's time. But yeah, but obviously, kids, it's gonna be more explosive because they are children. So
They are
that's the
children.
difference. That's the difference. And some adults are children as well. So that's the thing. Adults are just kids that got old. That's all. It's the same stuff. And no one wants to be Nabbit. But I think it's part of like Nintendo's obsession with like
Nabbit's kind of cute.
Compared to Princess Peach,
she ain't no one picking Nabbit. You know what I mean? Yes.
who's out here picking
compared-
Nabbit?
I'd pick Nabbit.
Yeah,
You have
but
empathy.
it's more of a self-report though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I think that's part of like
Right.
Nintendo's obsession with like a thing can't just be a thing. And like I think this is like one of the biggest design mistakes they make, and this particularly like applies to like settings, accessibility, all these different. Where even in like again, I know not owned by Nintendo, Pokemon, whatever, but like I remember in Pokemon Sword and Shield, to change the audio settings, you needed to talk to an NPC in town who would give you a pair of headphones, and
you're
that's how
joking,
you were.
right?
I'm not
You're
joking.
joking.
This is a real
No,
thing.
this is real.
This is awesome.
And it's like, why does everything have to be? Let something be a menu. And then they're like, well, we want to add like we're adding whimsy to everything. See, it's not easy mode; it's funky mode, and you're Funky Kong. It's like, why does everything have to be something? Why can't we just have a setting?
This started with the first game, right? The like running shoes or whatever. Not the first
Oh.
game. Was that in the first game? I
Oh,
forget
Pokemon?
if that was in the first game or not. Yeah, but like being able to hold the B button to run or whatever was
Right.
through an item, and like they gave it to you like 30 seconds into the game, so you never had to go without, but it had to be a thing that was like,
Yeah.
included. Like, here are your running shoes.
It's like everything is part of our work, and it's like and it just doesn't work well for. There's limitations to that, and they're like, yeah, we like doing this though, and I'm like, no one likes experiencing it, and they're like, we don't care, and I'm like, you know what? Valid points were made all around. Here's my money because you haven't given me a code in like 8 years.
Jesus.
Short other things. I've been putting off playing Bayonetta 3 forever because the frame rate was atrocious on the original Switch. I know that people were mixed on that game, but you know doesn't have the same highs as Bayonetta 1 and 2. But I just love those games and that character, so I just was like, well, hopefully when that comes out, Switch 2 will run better. And they haven't put out a like update where like they've done work to make it better, but it is one of those games where if games have an uncapped frame rate, like the Switch 2 will just plow forward and make it run better. So it's a little weird where Bayonetta 3, the cutscenes seem to run at 30 frames a second and are locked, but then you get to gameplay and it runs at like a silky smooth 60 frames a second. The only problem is like it doesn't bump the resolution. Like the Switch 1 was 720p docked or in handheld mode, and in the Switch 2, I think it's 10. So like it looks kind of pixelated. Like I'm still, I guess, I don't know if I should hold out that Platinum is actually going to put out an update to that game. I feel like if it was going to happen, maybe it was already going to happen, but it runs at 60. Like, so if you were waiting for Bayonetta 3 to like run quote properly, if not necessarily as best as it could be, like I played like the first hour and a half of that game and was like, oh, yep, Bayonetta is sick, and now finally it runs at a frame rate that I find acceptable for that style of game. So I'm looking forward to playing more of that. Jan, you should not buy a Nintendo Welcome Tour. You shouldn't. I think it's eventually you will cave and you will buy it, but I maintain that stance, but I don't think you need to get it. It's something only Nintendo would make, and it's not particularly good, but it is interesting. Like, it is kind of fun to learn about like how the magnets work in like the Rumble. Like, it's neat, and no one else would do something like this. But then someone implanted an idea to me that I really hope they end up doing, which is, what if this? Now, granted, it presupposes something we've already discussed, which is Nintendo doing ongoing support and expansion to something, which is not something that they tend to do. They tend to like release something discreetly and then like that's it, and they move on to the sequel or something else. But if Nintendo Welcome Tour became, hey, do you want museums for like everything Nintendo has made? Do you want to know how the N64 worked? Like, go inside a Rumble Pack, or like go inside the GameCube controller, or like go inside the DS. Like, the idea that they would turn it into like an interactive museum of all their hardware is an incredibly cool idea. But they use the same like level of attention to detail and like using mini games to express how technology works. I think it could be super neat, and everything that's in the Switch 2 can more or less do what the previous consoles have done, right? Like, so they'd be able to demonstrate all that stuff in some interactive fashion. So I hope they go that route. It'd be really neat to be like, they do lots of referential stuff to older Nintendo hardware where it's like, hey, here's how the rumble works in Switch 2. Did you know? Like here's the here's photos and descriptions and like little explanations of like everything that goes back to the original like Rumble Pack on the N64 that I think started with Star Fox 64. I think that's where the Rumble Pack originally comes from. Rumble Pack, P-A-K, right? It was not P-A-C-K.
Oh, really?
I think
Oh,
that's
Jesus.
right.
That sounds right.
Why'd you do that?
I want to say
Legal
yep.
reasons?
Yep.
Yeah,
Rumble Pack, P-A-K was how they spelled it. So
There was a version Star Fox. It was like packed in with Star Fox.
it was
right?
packed in with Star Fox.
Yeah.
Then there was other games that had the high well, not HD, but what it was it was like the graphics card like equivalent you could put in the N64.
Yeah, that was the Donkey Kong one, right?
Was it Donkey? I forget which started
I believe Donkey Kong was the one that needed the memory upgrade.
that. Anyway, long story short, is it worth $10? If you think that sounds interesting, it's worth
The
$10.
N64 expansion pack.
PAK as well,
Get
right?
PAK as well. Yes.
I don't know why. Maybe so they could trademark it, like take out the C and then suddenly it's trademarkable. I don't know.
Right.
But, if you don't think that sounds interesting, don't spend the $10. Is what I'll say. So I think Janet, you are firm in your assessment. I don't think you would enjoy this very much, but
I've played some of it at the event.
Yeah.
I've seen what I
You
need
got-
to see.
I think you see
Yeah.
what you see.
I
But if you
saved
do think
$10
it
for
sounds
the event.
interesting. It is ultimately kind of worth it's worth it now. I don't think it should be $10. I think it should be bundled with the Switch online expansion pack, and I think it will eventually. Like I think in like 6 months they'll be like, hey, we're not charging $10 for that thing that we shouldn't have charged $10 for. But
Yeah,
at launch,
I'm-
when you're looking for something to play, you might spend $10 on that.
I'm not buying it. It's not that I don't think it has interesting stuff, because I do think it has some interesting stuff. I'm not buying it on principle, because if I let Nintendo do this to me, where is the line? That's my question for the people who bought Welcome Tour. What wouldn't you buy from Nintendo, software-wise?
Another Animal Crossing because I don't like those
I
games.
I don't know. See, I get scared when I go down that line of thinking. That's why I'm not buying it, because I'm afraid for what that means for me in my future as a consumer.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, I got more to say, but we can save it for more Switch 2 stuff in the future.
Yeah. Plus, in Chio, you'll have time to really
we'll revisit
spend time with it outside of the
Download-
99 cent
it
store.
downloaded. Hey, how are you feeling about these sucking sticks? Because I'm worried.
Like they're gonna drift, you mean?
No, just like it feels squishy for some reason, and maybe I'm just used to my.
No,
old
I like
crusty
them. They
old
feel
Switch
they
101.
feel smooth. I will say
love the
the
ergonomics of the
But they
Switch
feel
2.
like too smooth. Like I want like a
Can't
little
be
more
too
resistance on them. I don't
smooth.
know.
the Pro Controller is
Why don't
technically
you list
a
those?
little
Give us-
more narrow. I noticed.
Yeah, I don't know.
My family especially knows, because I have tiny hands, so I didn't notice as much. But I like the UI sounds of the Switch 2, which I do know this. Yeah, Switch 2 launch lineup a little dry because I'm now getting to the UI sound. But genuinely, the
It's
UI
the only time we're gonna
sounds
talk
are
about
really
the UI.
the UI sounds are really good. Like the sound designer for the UI, they did their assignment. I don't know how about everyone else, but I think they're very pleasing. Yeah, they're fun.
It's a good click.
Sounds
Yeah,
pretty
click
good.
on something. Click on something.
Ooh.
Hell
Yeah,
yes.
that's the
Are
good
you
stuff.
joking?
That's the good stuff.
Get out of
where's the
here.
Where's the music?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
And
still
they
don't
start
have music.
now. Something that would be amazing is if they let you start using like the Nintendo Music app. If you could play that on your Switch, just in the background.
Shit. Like in the eShop, you could just pick what the
Yeah.
ambient noise
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. eShop also definitely running better. But yes,
Yeah.
people are right. It is full of hentai. So that did happen.
Excuse me?
From when I first.
Excuse me?
The eShop's full of hentai.
Oh yeah, Nintendo.
Go to the eShop.
Nintendo.
Go to the eShop. Hit great deals.
No.
Hit low to
Great
high.
deals?
Hit
Hold
great
on,
deals.
hold
Or whatever.
on.
'Cause
No.
when I browse on the eShop for funsies, I'll either go just straight low to high, or I'll go
Bestsellers,
on
Low
sale.
to high. Price low to high. Is
Yeah,
What you're saying.
I'd go probably deals more than bestseller, because bestsellers is still going to be like stuff that just sells a lot. So
Sale end date.
yeah. Just there should be a thing on the left that's like cheap games to some degree, like either like recently
There's
on
great,
sale.
There's
Or something.
great deals, but
Do
what
great
am I
deals.
filtering by?
Do low to high.
Low to high.
Yeah, for price. And that definitely has
Oh,
skewed
yeah.
up. That has skewed up. Back in the day when the Switch 1 first came out, it wasn't as hentai
Hentai
filled.
girls?
Yeah,
And now it's pretty
Hentai
hentai filled.
Hentai Girls Collection.
Yeah, there's like
Deluxe edition.
hentai golf
Bundle.
game, and I'm like, what's the golf gameplay
on,
like
it's only
in this?
Hold on, what
It's
did you
only
say?
$2.
What did you say?
Hentai golf
Say that-
game?
Hentai
God,
golf
oh my
game?
Yeah.
Oh,
Jesus
let's go in the hentai mines.
I
Oh
honestly
my
feel like
God.
it's genuinely, it looks like regular gameplay, but like the girls are hot. That's kind of, which is a lot of these like sexual games where it's like, y'all ain't really about it even. It's just like
Yeah, you
there's
ain't
just a
about
woman on screen. This might as well be an arcade racing game.
Oh, this golf game looks bad. Looks
Yeah,
real
it's no,
bad.
it's no,
just-
it's no
you
golf
just forward
story,
good.
you know, is the thing.
it. We're going out. We're taking all the content off the internet. We're gonna play the hentai
But
game
in terms
and
of
get banned
how-
from all the platforms.
In terms of how it runs, though, when you scroll the bottom, like because it used to be very laggy, and it would be like you hit back, the whole thing set, like it's a lot
oh no,
more
yeah,
scrollable,
you're right.
which is
It
great.
definitely you move through it a lot quicker.
I do wish you could
which I was really-
filter maybe some of that stuff out, just because it's like
But yeah,
not
the
my cup of
noises are
tea,
good.
but whatever. I'll scroll past it. That's fine.
This is my favorite so far, though. That's
That was that one
That's-
was an older one. That was from Switch 1. I forgot what that one was for, but yeah. Great UI, rounded bezels all around. They rounded everything down for Switch 2. Anyway.
And you can learn more
heftier
about
than I
those
imagined,
decisions in the welcome tour.
It's true.
Yeah,
Right.
Play it now
maybe.
before they update it with the Crusader No
They
Remorse
explain-
Cross welcome tour expansion.
They do explain the rounded corners on the back of the Switch 2 dock.
amazing.
Ooh,
Do
yummy.
you think that's there for a function? It's not. They said it just looks neat.
Aesthetics.
Design. So obviously now, if you don't want to hear any Mind's Eye spoilers, that'll drop in a timestamp to where you need to skip forward to.
We'll put that at the top, actually. Just I know it's like buried 2 hours in, but like just hey, mine's. What are they?
We're gonna
calling
talk about
themselves?
Mind's Eye on this game, and you're gonna learn some things.
What are
about-
like Mind's Eye fans calling themselves?
Oh,
Minders.
The Eye of the Beholder.